Good afternoon, everyone. It is such a pleasure to see the numbers at the bottom of my screen mounting. Welcome to the International Coaching Week hosted by the ICF Mumbai Charter Chapter. We have been working tirelessly to give you a beautiful event, and I hope that you really enjoy this. The International Coaching Week is a celebration of all of us coaches, what we do the world over. With us throughout this week, over 38,000 coaches have been working and sharing and giving and sharing the beauty of what coaching is all about with the world, with people like you who are going to benefit so well after this webinar. Thank you so much for taking the time out to being a part of this with us. I'd like to go ahead and share something beautiful with you in the form of a presentation. But before I go there, we're living in such a crisis-filled time. As I look out of my window right now, I'm seeing empty roads. I'm seeing nobody in my colony. I'm seeing very few people, walking, aimlessly, maybe going to the store with a mask on their face. All of this has become very common knowledge. And all of this is somehow beginning to say, like we are hearing the whispers that, is this the new normal? Is this what we're going to be doing for the rest of God knows how long, right? And we're trying to adjust with this whole change. And as we're doing so, I'd like to share something beautiful that I learned 5 years back when I got introduced to coaching. So, taking a deep breath, I say this. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous? Who am I to be this brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not? Who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within each of us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fears, our presence automatically liberates others too. This was by Marianne Williamson, and it was popularized in Nelson Mandela's speech in 1994 during his inauguration. This holds a dear touch to my heart, and I'd like to, with that, move to the presentation about ICF and ICW, the International Coaching Federation. This is a pioneer in the development of global standards for personal coaching. They go by core competencies, ethics, and industry research. So this is a serious body, independent body by far, because this works very hard to ensuring that training program accreditation is done, credentialing of coaches is done. They work really hard to give you quality in terms of not only the kind of training that's provided to coaches, but also the kind of coaching they do for you, right? They're continuing professional development for coaches. They're constantly continuing their efforts to develop coaches. And we constantly get not only events, but workshops and webinars to continue our skills. I am a coach, just like so many others globally who are coaches and who are constantly getting developing our skills. Somebody said to me, when we do an MBA, we don't need to keep replenishing our skills, but in coaching, we keep needing to get in touch with what is getting better. How can we add more tools to us? This is awesome, right? Providing access to credentialed coaches around the world is what ICF also does. And when we say we want that, the coaches get absolute access to what is happening around the world, there is a website that actually provides this facility. There's that that's the coachfederation.org. You should check this website out. So the good news is that ICF Global has completed 25 whole years this year, and this is a big celebration for us as coaches and coaching as a profession. 35,000 plus ICF members, 29,000 credential holders, and 140 chapters over 70 countries. Now that is something huge. So many people working hard to make a difference, to make the world a better place with the help of coaching. The tool that really can change life. The tool can be a pivot to bring change into people's lives, right? So all ICF members, as a rule, as an expectation of ICF, must possess a foundational level of coach specific training. They also must adhere to the code of ethics. Before we go into ICW and share more about it, Prasad, can we have a poll to understand who is our audience right now? Can I request everyone to please take a moment to quickly respond to this poll? Okay, I hope everyone has responded. Prasad, how is it looking? Can we end the poll and move on?
Yeah, I think 80% have already voted. We can end the poll.
Okay, great. So let's just end the poll, and thank you very much for that, Prasad.
Want me to share the results?
Yes, please. That would be lovely. Wow. So we have 47% of the participants as coaches. There's 1% of students. That's interesting. And then there is L&D and HR. There's managers. There's executive leadership. And there's entrepreneurs who are 8%. Lovely. And here we have the age group is between 41 to 55, which seems to be the highest. Then above 55 also we have a couple, and we have a few less than 25, which is awesome. Where do you live? Delhi, Chennai, Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore. Wow, wow, wow. Wonderful. There are a couple of people from other as well. Thank you so much for that, Prasad. That was lovely. It gives me great joy to know that we have such a variety of people attending this webinar right now.
Thank you everyone for participating. I'm stopping to share.
So about the International Coaching Week, an annual celebration of the power and impact of professional coaching. What can I say? Coaching is such a beautiful life tool that it has totally floored me and several of our members of our chapter who have taken this up as a profession that they love and they practice in every way possible. Right? The power and impact of this is something we're hoping to showcase to you in this presentation, in this webinar. And we're hoping that you leave this webinar feeling, wow, this is something new I have learned and added to my life. So ICF members from around the world are celebrating this week, like I said. And the key objective of the ICW is to showcase the power and impact not only to individuals, but organizations and communities. And we're really happy that so many people have participated in today's webinar. So the International Coaching Federation, like I said, it's a global organization. And in India, we are present in 5 different chapters, starting with Bengaluru, there's Chennai, there's Delhi, there's Pune, and of course, us in Mumbai. This is 400 plus members nationally, and imagine 400 plus people in India as it is, and a country that has got so much soul to it, right? Having 400 plus people, in fact, 450 plus people who are working constantly to make the country a beautiful place. So coaching is a partnering with clients. When we say partnering, we're saying that the coach and the client are partners in seeing an outcome that the client wants to see, right? In a thought-provoking creative process. Thought-provoking, that means it titillates your thoughts. The coach asks questions that make you think deeply about things that you perhaps haven't thought of before. And it's a creative process because it's something that makes you think out of the ordinary, maybe think out of the box, maybe think of things that you haven't thought of before. And it's a process. So therefore, coaching takes time. It's usually to see the change that you want to. Coaching takes time to see the results. So therefore, it's a process. It inspires them. So that means it inspires the client in a manner that never before. I've had so many of my coaching clients, and I've had so many of my colleagues talk about coaching clients who come away feeling refreshed, feeling almost tearful with vulnerability, with that emotion that, wow, this could even be a possibility. That's what coaching does to you. It has such a powerful impact on your soul, very much. And what does it do? It maximizes your personal and your professional potential. The beauty of it is that coaching cuts across boundaries. It's for anyone. Anyone can experience coaching and any aspect of your life, whether it's personal or professional. Coaching It's not the typical athletic coaching or the sports coaching that you would have, like a sports coach would do. What that particularly does, what sports coach basically does is ensures that your skills, if you're a batsman or you're a badminton player or you're a football player, those skills, the techniques, those are taught to you by a coach, and they help you with improving the techniques, right? And consulting is usually an expert, a person who charges you a fee because he understands the subject matter, understands a certain line of work that you're working in, and provides their insights and charges you a hefty fee for it as well. Mentoring is something that is different from coaching as well, because mentoring is usually, so for example, you join a particular organization, somebody who's a senior person there or somebody who's a colleague who's been there for a while can help you, mentor you until you fit in to the role and you're able to do your best self then. Therapy is something that looks at the past. They focus on the fact that, whatever you're holding back as baggage gets sorted. And therapy is important too. Training is, again, teaching skills in a classroom. It's about you teaching you certain techniques, tools, etc., about how you can work on developing a certain aspect of your work life or your personal life. All of these, let me say, are valuable and have their place in society, and yet each of these are not coaching. Coaching, like was said in the earlier slide, is an inquiry-led process that lets the client decide what they want to work on, also find solutions themselves. So Neha, I wanted you to throw light that why do people need coaching according to you? And let's look at that a little bit together.
So very clearly, you kind of took everybody through the definition, which spoke about maximizing a person's potential, be it in the personal life or professional life. So the core of coaching is there is a potential in everybody, and coaching helps you to maximize that potential. And it can do that in many ways. It can help you to overcome some challenges that you're facing in your day-to-day life, and also achieve goals, goals which are scary, which are big, which are 10x, which give you sleepless nights. Those are the goals coaching aims to help you achieve. So in a corporate setup, how can coaching help you? It can help in building better leadership. It can teach you things like situational leadership, how to respond to different kind of team members, and especially in such challenging times like COVID, how do you deal with the anxieties of the team? It helps you to build a high performance team. How do you keep engaging your team meaningfully? How do you increase your own emotional intelligence while also keeping the team emotionally charged? And last but not the least, improving communication skills of your team with you. So how do you really communicate with your team? How do you come across? Do you take feedback every now and then or not? So coaching professionally will help you achieve these goals, including any other business goals that you may have. The other thing, so these are few of the long-term engagements coaching professionally could help you with. The other part is something which is more for the moment. For example, something urgent, compelling, or exciting. Need for clarity. I've had executives, who've got 2 job offers. Of course, I'm not talking about the COVID times, but maybe last year. They need clarity. Should I take this offer, that offer, or should I just stick on with my present company? So the need for clarity by having a coach gives you that kind of clarity. Weighing choices. And last but not the least, blind spots. People who are familiar with the Johari window, the blind spot is something which is known to others about you, but is not known to you. It is unknown to you. So a coach will be very masterful in spotting those blind spots and actually letting you know about it. Especially for leaders at the top where people have very filtered communication, a coach will be courageous enough to tell you what he or she sees.
Thank you so much, Neha, for sharing all that you did. Coaching needs is also for life coaching, managing relationships, health and wellness, stress management, pursuing your passion or life vision, self-development, manage work and work and life balance, and career development. So therefore, individuals also go through a lot of need for for coaching. So there are different types of coaching. There's numerous disciplines. There's the niches and affinities. I remember what draws me most. I've seen most of my clients are women and mid-sized people who are, looking at, middle management company people who I'm finding more drawn to me for coaching. And I find that fascinating because that was the phase in life. Even I was finding difficulties in finding solutions, and I was wished I had a coach. I'm so happy that I'm able to help those people now. So the specialities in coaching as per coaches is that you could perhaps be a leadership. You could also have a leadership coach, executive coach. You could be a business coach, and you could be a life vision and enhancement coach. You could be a career transition coach. You could be a life transition coach. And so what is a coach's role? I want to quickly run through this. A coach provides a safe space for a client to share openly. This is essential. Somebody asked me recently, what is a safe space? A safe space is a place where a person feels secure, is able to, completely feel that you're listening completely. So the coach asks those powerful and pertinent questions in that safe space, and the client feels this sense of vulnerability to be able to share without fear and and the coach listens actively without judgment. Half the time in our lives, don't we have a situation where before we've even spoken, somebody else has a rhetorical or somebody else has a response before you've even finished, right? So here a coach is listening and talking and making certain that you are being heard. So the coach helps you discover, clarify, and align with whatever you want to achieve. Right? The coach also encourages your self-discovery. That means encourages what is it inside you that makes you be in a certain way, in certain situations, discovering what's your core, what are the values that you really bring to the place, what is your actual perfect, your awesome self that you would love to always be in the world but may not always be, right? So what is that self-discovery? Elicits client generated solutions and strategies. This is critical about coaching. A coach does not give you solutions. He helps you generate solutions, helps you so that you can feel empowered. You can feel the sense of, wow, I did this. This is me. This is all me and my life and my decision. So that sense of empowerment is awesome. So holds the client responsible and accountable. This is also very important. A coaching session or a training session or any of these kind of sessions could end, but the accountability is also what ties the coachee in to saying that, yes, I'm going to fulfill this and I'm going to do this because it's going to help me. The coach also guides the client through the process of coaching, of course, and lets the client take all the decisions literally from the time of starting the session of what you want to discuss. Are we going in the right direction? Have we found the answers? What are the action steps you're going to take? What are you going to be? How are you going to be accountable? So those are the kind of the paradigm is completely with the coachee, with the client. Yeah? Moving on, Prasad, thank you. So choosing a coach is really integral to this whole process. And the ICW, that the International Coaching Week, is all about helping people out there to find coaches for themselves. A good way to find this is to go to the credentialcoachfinder.com, or it is going to the coachfederation.com website and finding websites out there and finding coaches out there, right? The mode or the geography is a factor for in-person, or it could be also virtual or a telephonic way of getting in touch with your coach. I have coaches who are across the globe. I have coaches who are in different cities. I have coaches who I've never met, right? But still, I'm able to make a change. I'm able to pivot some sort of enablement in their life. So it's a good thing while choosing a coach to interview 2 or 3 coaches. Request for 2 or 3 client testimonials from each of your coaches. Try and understand if you feel connected with this coach. Like, for example, if you're considering me or any one of our members as a coach, you need to feel that fit, that am I feeling good around the presence of Priya? It's a good thing to get to know them a little bit before you can actually engage into a conversation. Yes, Prasad. So good things to ask, questions to ask a coach typically are, so what is your coaching experience? Tell me about your coach specific training that you have done. That means, where have you done the training, in India, abroad, somewhere, where you've done a complete, how many hours of training have you done? Maybe you might want to see their certificate. What is your coaching philosophy? What is your speciality? What types of clients do you usually work with? At what levels? What types of assessments are you certified to deliver? These are interesting assessments that help you. Things like, you can help them with DISC, with Hogan, with, your Enneagram. So many different types of tools are there where you might want to discover and see what you're all about, and therefore then approach your coaching around it. All right, so what types of assessments? And then we go into what are some of your coaching success stories. Do you hold an ICF credential? And with that, I think once you have these answers, you will be able to select your coach. Moving on. So what to expect in a coaching engagement? A typical written coaching agreement should be there. There should be assessments or maybe pre-work, depending on how the coach conducts his stuff, conducts the process. And of course, you will expect lots of powerful questions, and there will be accountability for your goals and your actions. Expect this in a coaching session, and this is what will bring change in your life. Now I'd like you to watch this video and go for all of those who have seen this movie, How to Train a Dragon. Prasad, can we play it, please?
It's a mess. You must feel horrible. You've lost everything. Your father, your tribe, your best friend.
Thank you for summing that up. Why couldn't I have killed that dragon when I found him in the woods? Would have been better for everyone.
Yep, the rest of us would have done it. So why didn't you? Why didn't you?
I don't know. I couldn't.
That's not an answer.
Why is this so important to you all of a sudden?
Because I want to remember what you say right now.
Oh, for the love of it, I was a coward. I was weak. I wouldn't kill a dragon.
You said wouldn't that time.
Okay, whatever. I wouldn't. 300 years, and I'm the first Viking who wouldn't kill a dragon.
First to ride one, though. So...
I wouldn't kill him because he looked as frightened as I was. I looked at him, and I saw myself.
I bet he's really frightened now. What are you gonna do about it?
Probably something stupid.
Good, but you've already done that.
Then something crazy.
That's more like it.
Oh my God, look at that conversation. Look at the amount it evoked in that particular boy, where he's actually able to say that, yeah, what exactly went wrong? Why did I not kill the dragon? What can I do instead? Yes, I was stupid. Yes, I was scared. Look at that vulnerability and what comes after this. I hope you have seen this film. If you haven't, you should watch it. And it's awesome. So moving into the main session, the centerpiece session of today's webinar, which is a live demo of what coaching looks like and what that experience is like, not only for the coach, but for the client, and what evokes in the client, what emerges for the client. I'd like to welcome Dr. Arvind Agrawal, who's the Master Certified Coach with several years of experience. I'm not going to go into details. This man is so well accomplished. Please go check him out on LinkedIn. We're running slightly late, so I won't say too much. And his coachee for the day is Meghana Shrivastava. Again, an accomplished coach. She's a PCC and he is a Master Certified Coach. Arvind, can I welcome you to share the screen with Meghana?
Thanks, Priya. Pleasure to be here with you in this space. Well, good afternoon to you, Meghana. Great to
Hi.
be with you.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you?
Fine, thank you, Meghna. So Meghna, you know that all coaching conversations are very confidential,
Yes,
but this one is not confidential.
absolutely not.
You know, there are nearly 200 people watching us,
Yes,
and it's even getting recorded.
yes, I'm aware.
Yeah, so I
I'm
hope you're
aware.
okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay
Right.
with that.
And I understand we have half an hour. So what would you like to take away from this coaching session this afternoon?
So I want to bring up something I have been struggling for a bit now. It's a very, I think it's been an ongoing off and on. It's been something I've been dealing with. This is the area of personal fitness. And I'm a little embarrassed to say this in front of nearly 200 people that
Right.
I am not doing absolutely anything at all at this point in time in life about my personal fitness, and it is irritating me. This I want to use our conversation, if I can, to break this inertia and do something, get started with it. It is something I've been grappling with for a bit, and it's beginning to just get under my skin now.
So Meghna, as you say that you've been thinking about it for some time.
Yeah.
You mentioned that it irritates you and you feel obviously very concerned.
Yeah.
But tell me, is there something specific which has come up now, which is making it important for you to bring it in the coaching session today?
Yeah, I think now it's just possibly triggered by the current scenario, with everybody being in the lockdown situation, and access to a lot of fitness options is restricted, and it's very easy to say that look, I could have, I would have, I should have, but I can't. And unfortunately, the truth for me is I wasn't doing anything even 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. So that's bugging me out right now, that everybody who's saying or doing at home and sitting, and it's kind of rubbing things in for me to say that look, you weren't doing anything anyways. And that's what has kind of triggered this thought process in the recent few days. That's what has triggered the thought process, that anyways it's high time I should have been doing something. And all the people who are trying to figure out workarounds, and here I am at zilch, have been at zilch for a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
So Meghna, it's very interesting that while you're so concerned about the fitness, at the same time, you look very amused in the way you're putting it across. So I'm just wondering where you are in this.
Yeah, it's ironical. And I don't know how I gave that away, but I used to be a very, very unfit person.
Okay.
And followed by, I used to be a really, really fit person. Okay, so I have some point in time fallen off the wagon, and it's been a few years now actually, and that is what is actually the core of my issue, is that I have allowed myself to fall off the wagon and stay off the wagon, more importantly, for so long. And that is the real source of my irritation with myself.
Yeah. So you feel very concerned about the fact that you've fallen off, and it's not just last few days, last couple of years.
Yeah, it's been a few. Yeah, it's been a little more than that. It's been a few years. Yeah.
And now you want to deal with it.
Yeah, I have to sort it in my head. I have to sort it, and I have to get back, because it's not just so there is an element of how you look and how you're able to carry yourself and your health, and some basic health parameters and all of that. But when you have experienced fitness and you become unfit after that, there are a lot of things that you do differently that you've been able to do in a certain way and you can't, like, the kind of stamina you have, being able to, climb up stairs or pick up things, or being able to not get tired, or, not getting physically fatigued. There are a lot of small things, right? Having multitasking, physical multitasking. There are things where I know the difference in what I used to be and what I am. And I'm like, how have I let myself get to this point? That's where I'm at. So I'm actually really irritated with myself.
Yeah. And from this state of being so irritated with yourself,
Yeah.
how would you like it to be resolved?
Oh, I want to do something about it. I want to get back, and to get back to the level I was is not going to happen. It's not going to happen like in 2 weeks or 5 weeks. It's going to take a time, because at one point in time, I was like a really fit person. I used to do all kinds of workouts and all kinds of physical activities and sports and marathons, and I've done all of it. But I want to get started. I want to have some kind of a blueprint to begin, and then, knowing myself, once I get started, I will pick up the momentum and I'll have the energy to then carry it through. But at the moment, I'm in this spiral where I'm, there is life happening, there are events happening, and there is this area which is just not finding focus for me. So it has had no attention, it has had no time commitment from me, it has had absolutely no action being taken in that space in life. Yeah.
And as you think about this particular session, given all that you're concerned about, what would you say would be the specific goal that you would like to accomplish?
Sorry, could you ask me the question again?
Yeah, so you have a lot of concern about the fact that you've fallen behind and you want to deal with it now.
Yeah.
So in this coaching session today's
session, okay, I get
your goal?
I get you. I know it's a short time, but it would be great if I just figure out a way to break this rut, this mental, if I can just break this box I'm in right now in my head.
Right.
I think that would be a great beginning.
Right. So what I hear you say, that if you can find a way, if you can figure out a way by end of this coaching session today, then that would be great.
Yes, at least if I can see some light, then I will be able to head in that direction.
Right. And you should be able to see that light.
Yes. I just want to kind of get out of this this closed space in my closed mental space. If I can break that away, then that will be great.
Right.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So it's clear what we are working toward. We want to get the light at the end of the tunnel. We want to see the way forward.
Yes.
And if you get that at the end of coaching session today, then that would be great. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Wonderful, Meghna. And how would you know whether during the coaching session we are really making progress toward that?
I will be able to sense that, because the inertia that I'm feeling right now, if I sense that shifting, I think I'll be able to identify that.
So you will know.
I will know.
If we are getting there. I will check with you.
Okay, sure.
As we go along.
Sure.
So Meghna, you have talked about your being concerned. You talked about inertia. So it's something which you have been thinking about for a long period of time.
Yeah.
So what's in the way, you think?
That's the $1 million question, isn't it? It seems like time. I mean, the minute you say what's in the way, I think the first thing that popped in my head was time. And as I say that aloud, I realize it can't be true because I've done it all before. Um, I think more than time, having time, I think it's a question of managing time correctly, or being able to carve out and make that commitment and being able to carve out the time. So maybe not call it a time issue, maybe call it a, I don't know, calendarizing, prioritizing, scheduling kind of a concern more than actually not having time, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Meghna, you were telling me that you used to be a person with a lot of fitness, and you really cared, and you did everything that you wanted to do.
Yeah.
So you managed time well then.
Yeah.
So what's changed from then to now that you are having this struggle with managing time?
Yeah, I'm actually thinking back as I was recounting, what my challenge is. I realized that almost no, entire schedule, my whole workout schedule was kind of built in and around my work life. I would work out in the morning. I had a trainer coming home a couple of days. I would do some kickboxing. I would go to work. I would go for a jog post that because I would be practicing for my marathon. I would catch some swims over the weekend. I think there were two big things that were really going on with me at that point in time. One, I'd taken up this marathon challenge. I had never been a runner, and I'd kind of decided with a bunch of friends that we would do the Mumbai marathon and things like that. So I really needed to lose some weight and get fit, and I had no experience of running. So I had to first learn to run, and once you're in that space and you have a group of friends who are keeping you company, and also we were very competitive at that point in time, saying, okay, right, did you do this? Did you get this thing in? And what else are you doing for stamina? And things like that. So I think that was a big thing that was going on with me at that point in time. And the other thing is that because this commitment was made, and it was a shared commitment I had with a few people as well, it didn't seem so hard to schedule. So as I think back, it would be almost like 2 activities a day. Practically, I was doing 2 activities a day, which is like some hardcore fitness enthusiasts, right? People who would like the Bollywood celeb variety, or like some serious sportsmen who are working out twice a day, right? But that was the frequency at which I was working out at that point in time. To say it now seems like a difficult thing to do, but it was a lot of fun at that point in time. It was just happening so simply and easily, and it wasn't uphill at all.
And I love the way you are talking about it. You look so excited even talking about it today.
Yeah. I want to be that person again. I want to be that person. I don't want to be this person.
Right. And you also mentioned that you had a shared commitment, and then you pushed yourself behind those shared commitments to be there.
Yes.
So what are your and you were excited about that commitment which you had about
yeah. Imagine somebody who's never run to run a half marathon. It was a thrill. It was a high.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was.
So what do you need at this moment to move forward with your fitness?
I need to get started. I need to find a start somewhere. I don't know if I want to be running marathons again, but I definitely want to reverse the changes that I'm seeing in my own fitness. yeah, I do want to resume. I used to love some of the activities that I was to participate in. I used to really enjoy them. I have loved kickboxing. I've loved swimming. Um, it used to be like my me time, you know. I miss that. I want to get back to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I need to get started. I need to figure out a way to just do it. Yeah.
And what will it take to get you to start doing it?
Again, so the last few months when I have tried on my own to start, I have started with walks, and I've tried to, get together with a couple of friends and, take a walk, and it has kind of fizzled out at some point in time because somebody's got guests coming, or I have got something happening at home, or I have not been able to stick to a schedule per se. So I think what I need to do is then do something solo like I used to. I kind of gotten started with thinking that how I used to work out with friends before would probably work for a start. And it's not happened that way, and that is I think what that's the area that I can have some semblance of control.
Yeah.
That's where I think I should start. I should have with something that I do on my own. Yeah.
And what would you like to do on your own?
Oh, something home based, at least for now, until we see a better scenario. In the outside situation, I think something home based, at least to start with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about doing that kind of a thing, home based?
I am actually I'm actually very comfortable doing a home based workout. There are multiple things you can do at home on your own. I have a few props as well from the previous avatar. I do have some exercise bands and weights and things like that, and mats and things. Of course, there's enough you can do on your own.
Yeah.
I'm very comfortable with the idea of a home based workout. What I will need to work through to make this happen still is a way to find out, especially because it's home based and everybody is home right now. I'm kind of just figuring out how and when to put this into practice. I need to find some time where I'm undisturbed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to give it a thought as to what that time may be?
Has to be early morning before the household wakes up. That's the only time. That's the only time I can carve out a 40-45 minute window.
That's fully under your control. Before everybody wakes up.
Yes, before everybody wakes up and before you hit your routine, and yeah.
What sort of time is that?
I don't know, 5ish in the morning, 5:15, 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
If I start by about 5:30, 5:45, I'm good. I get my 1 hour.
Yeah. And how do you feel about that? Waking up at 5:45 and getting started with your fitness?
Oh, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
It should not be an issue. Morning, I mean, it might be a little bit of a getting into a rhythm. It may take me a few days to find that rhythm again.
Yeah.
But waking up in the morning or getting into the activity or all of that, I've not done it for a long time, so it's going to take me a bit to settle settle back into that kind of a structure now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as I examine that thing in my head, when I'm tossing it around in my head, I feel okay. I can do it. I'll be comfortable. I'll be comfortable doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
You feel comfortable doing it.
Yeah. I'll be comfortable doing it. It's just that it's just that from my experience, I mean, how it happened for me the last time around is there are some shifts that will need to happen, because when you are waking up early, you can't be up till middle of the night, and you need to kind of prioritize things during the day so that you're not burning the midnight oil, and so I will need to make a few shifts. I know it will take a few days before I can settle into that kind of a routine again.
Yeah.
But I feel very comfortable. It's very doable for me.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And let me just check in terms of progress that we are making, because you said you will know how we are making the progress. So we've been in conversation for some time now. How do you feel in terms of progress we are making?
I feel good that there is definitely progress. Like I said, that in my mind, it's been this whole closed box kind of a thing that I'm not doing anything, and it's been that for a while. I did start walking, and then that didn't work out, and even that was a few months ago. So when I started, I was thinking that, okay, now with the lockdown, what am I going to be able to do in any case, right? So I am feeling good that there is some little light is coming through.
Yeah.
That there are options that I can practically apply.
Yeah. And I can sense that in your voice as well.
Yeah.
You feel you sound more relaxed and calm as you are sharing this.
Yes. I'm feeling a little like I'm taking back what I've parked aside for so long. I think I'm allowing that to come back.
Wonderful. And when do you want to get started with this?
So it's a weekend now. It's a good time. Sunday should be a good day.
Sunday will be a good day. Day after tomorrow.
Day after tomorrow should be a good day.
All right.
I took a few seconds. I just processed. I was about to say Saturday. Then I said, okay, I don't even know where my workout outfits are, or where my shoes are, or where my mat is, or what shape it's in. And I need to pull stuff together and dust it out, or wash it out, or whatever. I'll have to look for a few things.
So one day to organize, and then Sunday you are up and going.
Yeah. Early morning Sunday should be
Sunday early morning is great.
Should be a start.
Right.
Yeah.
And what sort of time? What will tell you that yes, you are now going to stay committed and it will not fizzle out?
If I am able to do this for a couple of weeks or so, then I'll be able to sustain it.
Right.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks means a fortnight.
Yeah.
So that will take you. This Sunday is 10th, so 25th. By 25th of May, if you are able to continue to do it for a fortnight, you will know that now this is new way of life. Yeah,
yes.
Sustainable.
Yes. Then I will sustain it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Meghna, what kind of support do you need for making this happen? Anything anyone can do from the family, from the friends to set you up on the course?
I think this has to be my husband.
I see. Okay. Right.
So I have to at least need to enlist his alarm services support.
Okay. Right.
Or at least for the first few days, because he's really good at nudging me and saying, okay, you said you were going to do this,
so do it. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's one. Yeah. What else? Who else can support you, or any other kind of support you need?
So I do have a very dear friend. who has been, so we've been having these conversations back and forth, right? That, oh, I need to do this and you need to do this and, you know, whatever. Maybe it's a good time for us to kind of partner up and say that, look, you get back on your track and I get back on my track, and let's kind of keep watching each other's progress and keep each other honest to what we've committed. So that will be helpful as well.
So that would be another support that you would need. What else?
I think that should be good enough. That should be good enough.
Yeah.
That should be good enough for the start. That should be adequate.
Yeah.
That should be, yeah.
Wonderful. So you have a plan of action now. You have a support system, and you want to track yourself at least for a fortnight to see that it doesn't fizzle out, right?
Yes.
So that would be a Meghna 2.0, becoming fit again.
Amen.
Right. That's the commitment you're making.
Absolutely.
Yes. Right. But Meghna, it's been great talking to you. But tell me what insight you got through this conversation about yourself.
So two things really emerged for me in the conversation. I think first was the question when you asked me what's in the way, what's coming in the way.
Right.
I think what hit me, I was about to say I don't have the time. It's very easy to say that, look, there is no maid and I'm doing so many domestic duties and all of that, right? And then I realized as I was saying time, but I used to make the time, and I used to make, at one point in time I was probably spending 2.5 hours a day practically, and if that kind of time is available, then there is no way I can say that I can't carve out 45 minutes today. And it's not a question of not having time. So I think what hit me was I have stopped prioritizing.
Right.
And then again, second time, so that kind of emerged for me that I'm not prioritizing. And then when you ask me, when we're talking about the action, and what can you do, what would you like to do? And I was like, okay, why did I again depend on somebody else, a couple of neighbors, to schedule this? Again, I'm like, okay, why did I not prioritize this for myself? So why am I depending on somebody else to help me get started on a routine that is clearly important to me? So what, again, it hit me that like I need to do this for myself. So then the effort has to be so low came to me very naturally.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So these are insights which you've developed for yourself. Besides applying it for starting with your fitness program, anywhere else in life you can apply these insights?
God, yes. Yes. Thank you for asking that question, because I think a very similar pattern is going on in some other areas as well. So it's going on in some of my work commitment as well. I think it's the same thing. I need to possibly prioritize a little differently and schedule a little differently to allow focus, attention, and time to go in the places where I would like them to be. So, yeah.
So how do you feel about that discovery?
It's actually such a relief, because I've been telling myself that there is too much going on. I don't have the time to get to this. I will pick it up when I have the time. But the realization that it's not about I do not have the time, it's about how can I plan to carve time for what is clearly important for me. Yeah.
So that's the shift.
That's the shift. Yeah.
Wonderful. That's wonderful, Meghna. You think we've come to a natural point where we should take a pause for this round of coaching session?
Yes, please. Yes, please. This has been wonderful.
right? So how would you like to acknowledge yourself for this wonderful discovery that you have made for yourself?
You know, as always, so you think you're a coach, and you know you've done so much of coaching, and you know so many coaches, and you know all of that, and yet that's the beauty of coaching, right? Every time, so I'm glad I took this opportunity, because it did help me make the shift in a space that is important for me. I'm so glad I'm feeling a little more in charge, and I'm feeling a little more in control. And I'm just thrilled that I can get back to the person I used to be. So that's a really big one. You have no idea how thrilled I'm feeling at this point in time. Saying that
Awesome.
starting Sunday, I'm getting back.
Right. It shows on your face. It's written all over. Wonderful, Meghna.
Yeah.
Lovely to be with you this afternoon. And my best wishes as you move on with your fitness program.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing this for me, Arvind. Thank you.
Wonderful. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Best wishes.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh, there she is, Saraswathi Anand, the lady of the moment, and welcome. And Saraswathi is also executive leadership and team coach. She's also a mentor coach and a PCC level accredited coach. She's going to give us her observations of how this coaching session went, and let's hear it from you, lady.
Thank you. Thanks, Priya. Thank you so much. I'm just going to take a pause. I'm going to take a pause because this is what mastery in action is all about. So Arvind, thank you so much. It was a fantastic learning experience for me. And I must acknowledge Meghna, because it takes guts to come up there. You know, we may think it's a mundane thing, but it takes guts to come up there and say, hey, I'm struggling with this. Really, thank you so much for that. And I noticed from the poll that we had today, there were about almost 50% of us who are coaches or on the way to becoming coaches. And there are about 50% of us who are possibly wondering, wanting services of a coach, or wondering whether I should become a coach and all of that. So I thought, why not start with this? Why not start with what the coaching process is all about? And if you really look at what Arvind did, and he did that so beautifully. He actually started off by saying, hey, listen, tell me, what is it that you want to talk about, right? And from then on, Meghna took it away. Meghna spoke about what it was about that she's struggling with, and what's the inertia, and so on and so forth. And Arvind just was there listening to her, right? The first part of the ICF competencies is about trust and intimacy. And Arvind demonstrated that beautifully. And I will come to each and every stage where he demonstrated that so well. The second aspect that I also want to talk about is the contracting. I don't know if you noticed, I just made some notes, and I've almost got 1.5 pages of notes. And then only Arvind comes to the fact that, okay, what is it that you want out of this session? You know, so he takes his time to actually go through the entire process of exploring, and so that Meghna is very clear as to what she really wants. The challenge is, if we don't go deep, and if you're not listening enough, and if you're not questioning enough, you could stay at the surface level. Possibly the contract or the outcome that you wanted could have been, hey, I'm just upset with my fitness regime. But it actually came back to something saying that, and this is what she said. Just right. So what specific goal would you like to accomplish? So that was the actual question that Arvind asked. So the specificity of that question made Meghna specific about what she really wanted from the session today. And I think that's really the entire space of how do you delve deep to come to an outcome that is specific for the client. Having said that, I'm also on my way to doing MCC. I love the deeper exploration because Arvind did not just ask questions, but he also noticed what was happening to the client. And he asked this very powerful question. He said, or he made a statement. He said, "You look amused."
Yeah.
Right? So where are you now? That was his next question. And that really brought Meghna deeper. Right? So as a coach, one of the competencies is that we listen, is that we are present. So these are the two competencies. Arvind was present to the shifts that happened in Meghna. He was not just listening to Meghna. He actually watched the whole of Meghna. He listened to the whole of Meghna to actually say, okay, so it's really about, I have fallen off. And that's when the words fallen off actually came from Meghna. Right? And that's how it moved on. Not only did he spot it there, he also spotted, and he said, now you're looking excited. And just before that, she's spoken about, I have actually built everything around my work life. And I had shared commitment. And there was a lot of joy and excitement on her face. You could see that it was palpable. And that's what Arvind picked up so beautifully. So what does a coach actually need to demonstrate? A coach needs to listen. Listen to the said and listen to the unsaid, which Arvind did so beautifully. And all of his questions, I'm just wondering, Priya, do you think anybody who's listening to this conversation would have found the questions tough, challenging, or something which was more, how do I say it, more larger? They were very simple and direct questions, weren't they? How do you think?
Yes, just so present. He was like literally watching her body language and probing and going on and on and on into it.
So powerful questions does not mean that it has to be really this bhari bharkam question that you're asking. They're all very simple, straightforward questions.
Can't agree more. Yes.
In fact, I like to use Hindi a little bit. Ye rozmarra ke sawal hai.
Ah, bilkul sahi.
These rozmarra ke sawal is what actually helped Meghna. And the question that turned it around, that's what Meghna said, is what's changed? Because just before that, she had mentioned, I've fallen off. Yeah. And then he picked that up and he said, what's changed? One of the great skills of listening is how many times has Arvind paraphrased? And if I were to look at that in all my notes that I've made, Arvind, you have paraphrased many a times, which has also made Meghna pause and think, oh, is this what I'm saying? Right?
It's
and then
huge.
The question. So the coach is actually listening to themselves through this paraphrase. Yeah. Please do keep me pointed on the time also, Priya.
Yeah. So we're kind of back on time, but this is so interesting and so valuable, I'm sure, to the people who are watching.
So I'll just wrap it up.
Yeah, as soon as you can. Thank you.
So started off with contracting, ensured that we stayed on track, checked in to see, are we doing well on the outcome? Very important, right? Who decides the progress of coaching? It's the client, right? So checked in on the progress, and Arvind did not let go of the action planning. I have got 1.5 pages of action questions. So Meghna, on Sunday, if your husband doesn't set the alarm, we're all going to call you. We're all going to make sure that you're ready.
ICF Mumbai chapter.
Oh. And I think that's the beauty of it all. The beauty of it all was the trust just flowed. The trust flows in the simplicity. The trust flowed in watching the client. The trust flowed in allowing the client to be they were. And therefore, when the client realized, I'm looking amused, and why am I amused? Knows that the client, the coach is actually looking and watching and understanding and wants to understand more. All this helped actually build that entire trust. So in short, build the trust foundation, then only a conversation will happen. And it's an ongoing exercise. It just doesn't stop at one place.
Right.
The next step is explore, ask all these questions, watch the client, listen to the said, listen to the unsaid. Ask those powerful questions, which are very simple in nature, and make sure that you have a commitment from the client. And I think through all these actioning questions, there is enough and more commitment in me. All the best. Thank you.
Superb, and thank you so much for putting that together, Saras. I cannot, I would love to add, but we're in short of time, and I would love to, share more, but I'd love to get into also questions because there are questions. So Punit, can we have you up on the video now with the Q&A questions that the audience has been asking, and share that with the panel here. Saras, can you please stay with your video on, because you're going to be the one who's also going to be helping with answering the questions. Thank you. Can we have your audio on, my dear? Yeah, Punit, go ahead. Go away.
Yeah, so are these questions on the top that I'm supposed to take, Priya? The ones that have been typed in now?
No, whatever you see in the Q&A, you would have kept a track. I'm hoping that.
Yeah, okay. So what are certain tips to remember when we are establishing oneself in the field of coaching, especially for starters with no experience of freelancing? And I would want Priya for you to answer that.
Yeah, so I think what are the certain tips to remember when establishing oneself in the field of coaching is basically, I think, getting trained. Training is essential. Get your training in place so that you get to hear and learn the skills from somebody who knows the set of, not only the ethics to follow, but the process to follow and how it can be done. Of course, coach as many people as possible. Also, get your, accreditation with the International Coaching Federation, work towards it. It's a process. Be patient with yourself and it will happen. So just patience is a big thing. Saras, would you like to add to that in any way?
Just want to add one thing, and this comes up with the trust equation. The trust equation, the first component of building trust is credibility. So as a coach, as a new coach who's starting out, please make sure that you build your credibility in terms of your own competence, your own skill, and then get as many testimonials as you can. And if you're coaching well, people will come back and give you those testimonials. Both these which are important.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, here's the next question. How can we create a coaching culture in an organization?
Arvind, would you like to go with that?
Sure. Thanks, Priya. So coaching culture basically has to start from the top. The CEO and the CEO's direct report, how they conduct themselves. And if you look at the essence of coaching, it is all around listening without judgment. So in organization, all too often, we are busy telling, directing. So if the senior management can shift from the telling to listening by asking questions, then you are establishing a coaching culture in the organization. Exactly the way coach conducts in front of a coachee. It's spontaneous and it's a childlike curiosity and listening intently. Wonderful. That needs to be played out by the senior management. That will set the tone. Wonderful. I'm not going into mechanics of it. I'm sure there will be mechanics of it, but at overarching level, this is what the CEO and the CXOs need to establish.
Wonderful. Saras, would you like to add? Yeah,
because Arvind made such a powerful point. So it's really for the need for change. And that's the team that needs to feel the need for change. And if they're actually there thinking about, yes, this is what I want to do, and having those hard conversations on a soft issue like a coaching culture is what will change it around.
The next question is...
Thank you. That's great. The next question is, how do we evaluate the ROI of coaching per se?
Arvind, would you like to do that?
Yeah. So it needs to be connected with need for coaching, because if the need for coaching has arisen, then that establishes the baseline, and reference that baseline, you see where you've reached. So that delta that you have increased is the return that you have made, and the money that you would have spent is on the denominator, basically. So we can give an example. Let's say you have appointed a new CXO, And during the interview and assessment at the time of appointment, it is very clear what the person's strengths are. And you've also discovered one or two areas where the improvement will help the person really perform 100%. So you identified the delta. Now you decided to give the person a coach. And if coach, together with the new incumbent, over a passage of say 6 months, 9 months, are able to move forward with that gap, eliminate that gap, then the performance would have presumably improved or will improve. So the business consequence of that improved performance is the numerator again for the fee that you have paid to the coach.
Wonderful. The next question is coaching a paying profession in general, and especially in the current economic scenario? Saras, would you like to answer that?
Sure. So all of us are guessing, to be very honest. And all of us are in a space where, yes, there is a slowdown, no doubt about it. But it's the calm before the storm. And by that, what I mean is, the way I see it, it is a very paying profession, paying in all aspects, paying revenue economically, paying in terms of your own learning and growth and development. And I don't want to hazard a guess on the time because I'm not an economist. It is going to come back. It's going to be a crying need for everybody.
Wonderful.
The next question is, what does one need to keep in mind when one is getting back to coaching after a long gap of say 5 years? And can one pursue coaching as a profession on a full-time basis? So there are two parts to it. Would you like to take that, Priya?
Well, I personally feel that coming back, it's like, when you are cycling and you get onto a cycle as a child and it's difficult to learn and you figure it out. Once you learn it, you don't forget it. I believe that once you've learned how to coach, you cannot forget how to coach. There's nothing really to do except maybe just revisiting the credentials, understanding, is there anything that's changed? Is it all otherwise the same? Just for that, once you're a coach, you're always a coach and you're going to do a fab job. Don't worry.
Yeah, can I add?
I would like to add to that. Yeah, go ahead, please.
See, there are fundamental attitude or let's say capability as a coach you imbibe. And I go back to the point I was making about listening without judgment. So that is not something you switch off or switch on. You may not be doing a formal coaching practice, but it's a way of life, no matter which profession you are. So if you have become a listener and you remain a listener, then you can say, okay, now onward again, I will take coaching contracts. But if you have regressed and you have stopped being a listener, then it's not the matter of 5 years, it's the regression that you've gone through, and you need to then come back to the base zero through whatever means before you start engaging yourself as a coach.
So very well said. Once a coach, always a coach.
Yeah.
The second part of this question is, can one pursue coaching as a profession on a full-time basis? The answer to that is a big yes, and quite a few of us here are, many of us here on the panel as well as in the audience are full-time coaches. The next question is...
Punit, can I add something to what Arvind said on that, on the coach? So the question, can one come back as a coaching? I think, one thing which I have believed, even a coach needs a coach at times. Not at times, probably, whenever they feel like, all the time. And I think if somebody wants to come back as a coach, feel free to approach a coach as to how do you want to come back. That can open up a lot of insights for you. And that can set the ball rolling. So definitely one should go back. And it's the passion. It's the passion that one has inside them, which should start, taking them forward. So
very
that's
well. Very well. Thank you for adding that.
I think we've got just one or two questions more. I think we can take. I think that's also really cutting it fine because we're already at 5:28. There's one question that says here, how do you hold space? Would you like to answer that, Saras?
The only thing I would like to say is just go back and listen to this recording if it's made available. That's how you hold space. But to really answer your question, holding space is space and pace are very important. Space is about pace, the non-judgmentalness, and observing with curiosity and just being there. If the client wants to take their time, if the client wants to take the conversation somewhere, being with them, I think that's how you really hold space. You hold space by being with the client.
Yeah, being
and
present.
If I may add, Saras?
Yes, please.
Not have premeditated questions. Because oftentimes, as a coach, if you go prepared into a session, then you are not going to be present.
Yeah.
Then you're going to be playing out what is already there in your mind, irrespective of what coach is saying. And just to debrief, Meghna and I met over Zoom call for 15 minutes just about 3-4 days ago. And Meghna asked me that, should I tell you what I'm going to take up as an issue? I said, don't, because I will lose my spontaneity. You will lose your spontaneity. And we will not do a good coaching session if we knew in advance what it is.
What this is going to be. Wonderful. Great.
So that's very important.
Lovely. Thank you both, Saras and Arvind. This has been wonderful. I really think that we'll have to close this because we have we've shot our time past. The poll has come through, and what's standing tall amongst everything about coaching is, which of the following skills are you likely to apply in your daily life after this webinar? And what's coming through, and I'm so happy to hear, is active listening. Yeah, listening actively is so powerful. People love to be listened to, and I wish you could do more of that. We have with us here Anita Sachdev, who's going to say a few words about what her message to everyone is. Anita, please take it away.
Words cannot express. This is one of the few sessions I think, in fact, even globally, I've attended that has kind of demystified coaching. It took it from what is coaching to the actual experience, to decoding the coaching so that people truly understand what the process is, and that it's not something that we talk about, but it's something that we live it 24/7. And the other piece is that we have to walk our talk. And that came pretty clearly as coaches, that who we are is how we express ourselves. So I'm so happy to say that ICF Mumbai chapter is pretty active, and they're gung-ho in spreading the message and evangelizing coaching. So if anyone of your organizations need coaching, just reach out and we will be able to come and support you. And now I would like to invite everyone for the next session, which is going to take place at 6:30. Yeah. And this it's going to be a panel discussion with leaders, with facilitators, enablers on discussing about coaching, how they have experienced it and added productivity to the organizations. Folks who asked questions about how coaching can work within the organizations would find this session also of great value. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining in. And thank you from ICF Mumbai and ICW2020.
Thank you so much, Anita. And with that, we really would love to hear from you about what your feedback is. Please, please, please do fill this out for us. This is critical for all the hard work that we've put. We would love to know how we have done.